Hey, what's up, folks? It's your boy DJ81 on that channel, Skins for Life. I haven't done any of these uploads as of late. I know I've been doing live streams and doing all types of other things. So, why are we here? Well, I felt compelled to speak because this is getting ridiculous. Now, Ubisoft just recently dropped a couple of trailers, mainly about their next Far Cry game, Far Cry 5. In which takes place in the United States, in the state of Montana, featuring a cult, Christian cult, a group of extremists, zealots, just a small sector of the population of people here in the United States. More good people than there are bad people. But the funny part is the complaints about this game. Now, we can go back starting with when the game was Far Cry 2 took place in Africa. Nobody was complaining about that. Far Cry 3 took place on a fantasy island. Nobody was complaining about that. Far Cry 4 took place in, I'm just going to say India, or somewhere around that area. Nobody was complaining about that. So now that it's taking place in America, and we're dealing with Christian extremists. That's all we're dealing with. We're not dealing with Christianity. We're dealing with Christian extremists. And it's taking place in Montana. Now we want to complain. I think this is hilarious. It's just funny how now that the game is talking about something that's close to your neck of the woods, now you're complaining about it. Alright, so it is crazy that there's a lot that this game's plot and characters and locale all touch upon when it comes to folks here in the United States. There's a history of racism. There's a history of extremism here. Obviously, there's a great divide in political ideology. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on in the United States. It's not necessarily all good. There are good things going on here in the United States, but I just think for the people that are complaining about the plot, and matter of fact, when I know that there's a petition that opened up, has 500 signatures on change.org, and one of the suggestions, get this, one of the suggestions wants the game to change its plot or its location, or at least the cover. It wants to change the characters to Muslims or anybody else but Americans. You heard me right. Muslims, or the location had to be changed to Canada. So when people were playing another Ubisoft game, Ghost Recon Wildlands, nobody was complaining about what they were stereotyping in Bolivia. We can play this game about who we need to target or what stories need to be about. At the end of the day, it's a freaking video game. And yes, there is a political ideology that's being targeted, but that's all the game is targeting. And it's such a small part of this population, even though there's a lot of blood on this country's hands, but it's really just focusing on extremism. That's the ideology. It has nothing to do with religion. You just have extremists that hijack religions and try to blame the word of whatever God that religion is based off of to excuse their dumbass actions, which involves killing people. And speaking of killing people, let's talk about extremists that have killed this past week here in the United States. Just in the past week, or basically just in the last 2 weeks, let's just say that, we had a student from Bowie State, African American, was stabbed to death, random stabbing, by a white supremacist at College Park, Maryland. And then just a few days later, we had the Portland incident in Portland, Oregon, where a white supremacist shouting racial epitaphs at Muslim girls, in which, get this, 3 white men defended the girls, and it cost 2 of them their lives. One a military veteran, and father of 4. You had another, and the 2 others were students, or had just recently graduated, or had just, was in college. But either way, it cost 2 people their lives out of 3. The other is pretty much going to be maimed for life because of extremism and a terroristic act perpetrated by a white male. So when a game like Far Cry 5 centers around extremism, and it's done it for all their games thus far. I don't know what Far Cry 1 was about, but I know since 2, they focused on extremism. There's no reason to complain about Far Cry 5 and the plot and locale. I'm looking forward to playing this game because I want to see how this plays out. I like to see. I'm a sucker for stories, and I'm a sucker for history. And when you talk about the history of the United States, 1 or 2 things tends to happen. And I'm going to be real here. Keep it 100. It happens on both sides. People either want to erase history or change it. It just seems like that's the common theme to do when we talk about the United States. Every other country, we can talk about it, but no, this country, we can't talk about it. It's taboo. So that's my thoughts on the Far Cry 5, and I know I went on a little bit of a rant. I was trying to stay on topic, but me, when I get on these topics, I tend to go off a little bit. So I would thank everybody that listened to this video, that watched the video and the gameplay of Battlefield 1 for sticking with me, because I had to get this off my chest. So with that, I bid everybody a fair adieu. If you have any comments, complaints, whatever, if you're one of the people that's complaining about Far Cry 5 and wants to troll the channel, go right ahead. It's a free country. Remember that when you're commenting. And yes, I'm a military veteran, so I am one of millions that have fought for your right to freely speak. So remember that when you're commenting on the video. But definitely comment below. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. If anything else, share this video. Yes, I'm e-bagging, but anyway, that's beside the point. Alright, so I'm out. Didn't want to stay too long. You guys take care, and I hope everybody had a great Memorial Day weekend. And pay your respects to those that lost their lives in the military. Peace.